From the New York Times, Georgia appeals court stays most proceedings in Trump election case. The order means the prosecution of Donald J. Trump in Georgia is effectively frozen, at least through the presidential election. It's over.
Wow.
Yeah, seriously. Wow.
I didn't even hear about that today.
Because Fani Willis is facing removal.
Right before 7, so.
Yeah, the Georgia Court of Appeals on Wednesday stayed the criminal election interference case against Trump until an appellate panel could resolve the matter of whether the district attorney in Fulton County should be disqualified from prosecuting the case based on a conflict of interest. In a one-page order, the court stated that any movement at the trial court level pertaining to Mr. Trump and 8 other defendants who have appealed a ruling following allowing the prosecutor, her name is Fani T. Willis, to remain on the case was stayed pending the outcome of the appeals. And then you've got the documents case is basically being jammed up by Judge Cannon. So it's looking like, for the most part, Trump is winning all of these, except for the local one. And that's funny, too, because that's the one where he can't pardon himself. Now, Georgia, he won't be able to pardon himself either. But it's funny because a lot of people, I hear people in what we can call the normie-verse who do not understand. And, watching some of these shows on YouTube where, like, other podcasts, and they're like, well, if Trump just goes to jail, becomes president, he'll just pardon himself. They're like, yeah. No, you can't pardon yourself for a state level crime.
Now, what'll most likely happen if that were to happen, he would have an executive order. It would be national security situation. He would say, I'm taking authority because it's a national security. It would be some kind of national security directive that they would come up with, and he would say, okay, I'm doing this, and then he would have them. If they protested, then the Secret Service would say, no, the president gave an order, because you can't have the president in jail.
If he was in jail with Secret Service, he would just turn to the Secret Service and say, open the doors.
Yep, 100%.
And they would go, okay.
And they would figure out how they make the executive order happen after the fact.
There's no local cop or corrections officer who's going to tell the Secret Service no. Nope. Not going to happen.
Nope.
But
especially if he did win the election. If they know that he did win, they're not going to. No.
But I don't even know that it matters at this point. I mean, I suppose winning would have to happen. But we're in uncharted territory right now. I mean, July 11th, something weird is going to happen. Because I don't think they're just going to, at first I was saying house arrest makes a lot of sense. And that's what I'm hearing on Fox. And many pundits are saying, yeah, they'll probably put him in an ankle bracelet, limit his ability to campaign. I think Brandon Strzok is right when he was like, why would they stop now? They've gone 100% in every single facet. Why stop now? I'm like, you're right.
Why wouldn't he push them and make them put him in jail? If every time they come down on him.
Now they're arguing they want the gag order to remain indefinitely.
Well, and especially since this comes down
I didn't see that either, no.
Judge Merchan, who already said, has threatened Trump with jail time over the gag order. Like, he has already floated the idea that he is willing to put Trump in jail. Why would he not now that there's a conviction? Like, we're saying they, but it really right now comes down to this one guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really agree that normal people don't care about some of those issues. I mean, maybe fair enough on Ross Ulbricht. That's pretty niche. But like in terms of just basic truth about what is going on in the government, the secret stuff that everybody wants to know
Nobody cares about.
I don't agree, man.
But it's a fact.
It's not.
It's a literal fact.
Okay.
All the polling shows that is what it is.
Like you will not be able to walk up to the average person and say, "Do you care about the CIA?" They'll go, "What do you mean?"
I mean, hundreds of millions of people have crypto, and they're happy that he's pushing for.
Not hundreds of millions of Americans. What percentage of Americans?
A lot, tens of millions.
But you're talking about a financial regulatory issue that comes down to members of Congress. People don't care. They're going to ask the single issue right now for everybody is immigration. That's the largest single issue, followed by economy in general. Why is it hard for me to buy bread and milk? And if you go, I mean, dude, I'll bet you $100 right now that if we go to a grocery store right now and just walk up to some random people and say, what's the most pressing issue for you in this election? They're not going to say the secret workings of the government.
Fair enough. The economy is
But I'm not even talking about immigration, abortion. Israel's going to rank higher than that. And then you might argue like, well, isn't that stuff tied to foreign policy? And they'll be like, sure, I guess. They're going to say, I want a ceasefire. Or they're going to say, this is ridiculous. We got to support Israel. And then you're going to be like, what about the CIA and the secret government? They're going to say, I don't care. Don't know, don't care what that is.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know. I don't agree. I think people do want to hear the secret truth of what's going on. And I think that it's just this lingering feeling, this uncomfortable idea that, you know, there's just kind of the shadow government that is running and they want to know what's really going on. I think it's becoming much more of a mainstream.
Bro, if you drove your car 10 minutes up the road and walked into like Dairy Queen and said, "Do you want to know the secrets about the inner workings of the government?" They're gonna go, "The what?"
I don't agree, man. People have, you know, streaming services. They watch crazy videos. Everybody's into this stuff.
Yeah, but not what you're describing. What you're talking about is this amalgam of chaotic conspiracy ideas that exist in various forms, where you say, "Do you want to know the secrets of the government?" and they're thinking aliens in the pyramid, and you're thinking the CIA and Julian Assange.
Yeah, but
I'm saying if you go to someone and say,
"No, I'm thinking aliens," I think that that's a totally valid issue that people like.
Right. The subject of the story that we're talking about is election interference criminal cases in Georgia and whether or not Donald Trump's going to go to jail.
I think a lot of. All right, fair enough. But and that is absolutely a key thing, which, you know, is causing mass donations to his campaign, and everybody's very excited about it for various reasons on both sides. But, you know, I don't know. I just think that the best candidate for president is the one who speaks the most truth.
What kind of numbers do you think of, like, people generally pay attention to politics on a regular basis? Like daily consumers, right? They're going to something every day in America that, you know, like,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like a topic like UFOs is way more mass appealing than boring politics.
Well, the reason I say that is because we're talking about in the context of the election. So that's why I was asking about
the people who care about UFOs aren't voting.
That's not true.
It is generally true, right? So voter turnout is like 50 some odd %.
Okay.
Right. The majority of people, the average person, does not go out and vote. The average person might watch a Joe Rogan and want to hear about Bigfoot. They're not going and voting for Bigfoot as an issue. And most of those people aren't voting at all.
I mean, if it gets spoken about on the debate stage or in any major context, then it can become a voting issue.
I think the one thing that might is Epstein. But then we're talking about a guy who was actually a criminal, high profile, working with government agencies, and died under mysterious circumstances.
If we didn't,
that permeates the average person.
I think if we didn't have the inflation that we had in the past year, 2 years or so, I think that you guys might be onto something. But I think that right now, the major topic on everybody's mind is the economy.
Well, that's
the fact.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, the largest single issue is immigration, followed by the economy. And I'm saying the only. So I don't know what you're implying there, Phil, because I'm disagreeing with his idea that people care about those things. People care about immigration, the economy, and then you go down the list and it's like the cost of rent, the price of houses, abortion, Israel, Palestine, foreign policy.
But even if you go down that list,
conspiracy stuff doesn't even crack the top 30 probably.
Yeah. But even as you go down that list, like 3 of the top 5 are economic. You know, inflation, the cost of gas and stuff. But the point being, yes, I do agree. I think that, and the reason that I'm saying this, or the reason that I'm trying to make this point, is because honestly, it's super depressing to me when I think about it. I do not have a very, like, I think there are a vanishingly few amount of people that actually care and actually pay attention to regularly, and of even fewer people that know what they're talking about when you actually present them with like, hey, what do you think of this topic? So. I'm despairing.
If you go to the average person and say, vote for Donald Trump, and he's going to tell you about UFOs, they're going to say, shut up.
If he started talking about it more seriously, I mean, you have politicians, Matt Gaetz, Representative Luna, Burchett. You've got like UFO caucus now.
They'd get offended.
What do you mean they get offended?
We're not seeing videos on TikTok of dads walking their kitchen with a bag of groceries saying, I just want to know about these UFOs.
Understood, but that's only if you think about it in the context of it not being related to the economy, it not being related to
UFOs?
To the black budget. Yes, because if...
Dude, you're convincing nobody.
No, that's not true, man.
There's a video of a 19-year-old kid screaming at the top of his lungs in his car because he can't get a job, he can't pay his bills. These people don't care about UFOs.
But the economy is connected. If there is... And I'm not claiming I'm not on either side of it. I'm on pro disclosure of the information. But if there is secret technology that exists that is, you know, some new form of energy, then that has insane economic implications that changes the whole global economy. So
you're talking about 0.1% of the population that watches those shows.
Okay, fine. But if you can educate people that disclosure of this information is going to have major impact on the economy, their quality of life, then it can change people's perspective on it.
You don't spend as a campaign billions of dollars doing market research to figure out what people respond to, only to ignore the secrets that you're describing. The reality is Democrats and Republicans have ideological bases that they target. Democrats, and this is the problem with the Libertarian Party, Democrats say, how do we maximize votes? And right now, Democrats are losing Latino and black voters, and they're losing first-time voters. Trump is winning in these areas, so the Democrat strategy has shifted, and now they're targeting white, affluent women predominantly. That's their target market now. The Republicans are like, we want to go for the black community. Donald Trump is doing well. He just got endorsed by a Black Panther, the founding member, and register new voters because they lean towards Trump. The policies of the Republicans and the Democrats are, what do we have to adopt policy-wise for the party that will maximize our vote potential? The Libertarian Party does the opposite. The Libertarian Party says, we don't care what the population thinks. We just want what we want. And they stay. And it's funny because Trump said 3%, which is unfair because they got 1.8 last time around. They're that miserably bad at what they do. So you don't spend billions upon billions of dollars in market research to figure out what the average person cares about, only to then go, well, they really do care about UFOs and government conspiracies, but we're going to ignore all of that and all of the money we spent on this research. If that were the case, it's the only thing they'd talk about. They talk about UFOs.
I think that they should more, and that's why the top podcasts on the planet are talking about those things. And if you're not talking about those things, you're not paying attention. So, and that's, I think, to Trump's credit, I think that he does engage with those topics on some level. You know, he does not dismiss those things, and I think that that's an important strategy to continue.
The issue is the people who care more about UFOs than, say, immigration or the economy are not going to vote on that issue. No one actually thinks that they're going to get any information or that it matters. The things that motivate people are when they wake up and they can't buy milk for their kids.
All that I'm saying is that it is smart for a candidate to make, like, in the same way that he said, okay, I'm going to be pro-Bitcoin, and he created that political division between him and Biden. That's a super smart strategic move. He should do the same thing with all of those topics, because why not? It's just extra fuel for him.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.